All right, what's going on, everyone? Today I was wanting to show you how to make chord stacks. Now, you might be asking yourself, now, Mr. TWD, why is it that I need to know how to make chord stacks? Well, if you've ever listened to music, you might realize that there's a lot of layering that happens in pretty much every song you might listen to. Yeah, there's a lot of simple songs and, there are exclusions, but I think in general, the goal a lot of artists have is to really fill frequency range, really get that spectrum full. And so, it's kind of the same as like a cheeseburger or anything like that. Take away any part of it, it's just not going to hit the same. You really need that meat to get the thickness in there. You need the cheese to add a little bit of that to it. You know what I'm saying? And of course, the buns to hold it all together. So, I mean, chord stacks is the same thing. We can have individual sounds, but it's just not going to hit the same without the full stack. You know what I mean? So that's what we're going to be talking about today. All right, and to jump into it, I have put together just a little bit of a chord progression here. Nothing too crazy. Working in F minor, and yeah. So I just wanted to kind of have something to start out with, so I didn't just go in blind. But yeah, so I guess we'll just go ahead and play this and see if we can't get it pretty beefy. All right, cool. And that is just using a regular, just the initialized preset in Serum. So first things first, I like going to basic shapes, and we're just going to use a saw. And so with oscillator A, I just go to basic shapes and I get the saw wave here. And then I'm going to boost the unison up to around like probably 9. And I'm going to tune it a bit, just a bit, right? And that already adds a bit of width to what we originally had. Here's the difference. I think I'm going to do 12 actually, right? All right, cool. Next, I'm going to go ahead and turn on oscillator B as well. I'm going to go ahead and select basic shapes again and get our saw. And I'm going to go ahead and turn that all the way up to 16. I'm going to leave this slightly more detuned. Bit more, just slightly more detuned than oscillator A, but this is what this sounds like. And if you hear any cracks and pops, sorry about that. Just some crazy stuff happening over here. All right. And then I'm going to turn on the filter. I'm going to use MG Low 18. All right. And I actually used the MG Low 24. But yeah, sorry about the cricks and cracks. I don't know why this is. I think it's because I use a different audio driver for recording. So that might be what it is. But anyways, I do apologize. Moving on. Next, I like to turn on the noise. Classic thing to use is, of course, the bright white. I'm going to turn the pitch. And I like it to be a little bit lower. That way it's not like overpowering or anything, because it is just like high frequency stuff. So that's why we have everything kind of on the filter, and why the levels turned down a bit. But yeah. So next, I'm going to add distortion, probably just soft clip. And then next, I'm going to add chorus. Right, next I'll add multi-band compression a bit. And these knobs, it's just slight little tweaks. If you're not sure what they do, I don't think I can explain like everything because I don't even think I fully know. But, you know, it's a lot of just playing around with stuff. What I really did to help me learn kind of, or just get more familiar with Serum was whenever I was messing with these kinds of things, I would turn it all the way up and just start flipping stuff, you know? Not randomly, or well, kind of randomly, but not like rapidly. I would like, for example, I would just be like, I'd play it and I'd just like mess with stuff, you know, see what it's doing to it fully, you know? So it's kind of how you can approach all of these different knobs and a lot of different plugins in general, honestly. Just turn the mix up, see what it does, and that'll get you a lot further. But next thing I add is multi-band compression. I turn the mix down a bit. And turn the gain up just a little bit. Next, I'm going to add an EQ to remove the low end. What we can do here is we are going to add an EQ. Actually, before we do that, let's add OTT. You know, you don't need too much of this. I just turned it down a bit. Cool. Next, let's add a EQ. Increase the highs here. This is going to be our high frequency. So I'm going to go ahead and group this track just by itself for now. And then I'm going to duplicate it, right? And now we're just going to take this same thing that we have here. I'm going to delete this EQ. I'm going to turn off OTT. Then I'm just going to get back in there. Let me solo it really quick. Okay. And now I like to mess with the sound a bit. Just get a different sound. Maybe lower some stuff. And this kind of stuff, this is really personal preference, but you don't really want just a full stack of super saws, right? Or else it's just going to sound like a giant super saw. So you really want to mix up your sounds, really just play around, see what kind of different things you can get. You don't have to just use basic shapes, but if you want to, it makes it a lot easier. Give yourself maybe less options if you aren't fully comfortable. But anyways, I'm just getting into a lot of nitty gritty anyways. For this kind of thing, you really do just want to keep it simple, honestly. So yeah, it's just a lot of personal preference. So I'll just play with this until I find something I might like. And that sounds pretty cool, honestly. Alright, honestly, sounds pretty good. I'm going to turn off the white noise on this, though. Then I'll just turn on OTT. Okay, now I'm gonna play them both while I EQ, because we're just trying to get these things to match, right? Also, if you don't have span's really cool. Helps you kind of visualize this thing a lot easier. And whenever I'm EQing with higher end stuff, I boost just a little bit. Then I'll kind of get this out up here for just to give more space for our high end. And I might add one more layer in. So in order to do that, just duplicate. And we're going to solo again, just mess around with it. Let me go ahead and delete the EQ. And see what we can get. All right, that sounds pretty good. So next with this, I just kind of want these sounds to really stick together. So in the group with these three, I'm just going to add OTT. Next, I'm going to add EQ to this. So I can EQ all of them, cut out all the low frequencies in all of them. And what I like to do here is I like to duck down at 1K just a little bit, just to make space for a main lead. That way all the sounds in this are kind of ducked out of the way. Might boost the high end just a little bit. And you really don't have to do anything crazy here either. You just really want these sounds to really come together. And so your goal is to really fill out this space here. You know what I mean? All right, so we've taken care of this, all of the mid and high frequencies. Now we want to work on the low, mid, and low frequencies, or sub. It's basically just bass. And so to do that, I'm going to start in a new MIDI group. This one's going to be my bass. I'm going to name this one Stack. Just for a little bit of organization. And, you know, you can play around with these. A lot of producers have a lot more than just 3 stacks in their layers. You don't have to get crazy, you know. It's just about what's going to sound right. I'm just doing 3 just as an example to kind of show you and give you a direction of where to start. But yeah, don't think that there's any like hard limits to what you have to do. A big problem that I had was I would watch a tutorial and think, okay, so this is just how I do this. But anytime you learn anything from anyone, it's just going to be a directional thing. You know, you don't have to take it as hard. Really play around, explore and experiment, and you can find a lot of cool things, you know. The main tip I would take away from this is you really just want to make room for everything and fill out this spectrum. You know what I mean? Just a little midpoint tip here, I guess. But yeah, I usually record, just by the way, guys, I usually record with a camera, but I use my phone for my camera because I don't have a webcam. And honestly, it's I know it's such a small step, but ADHD is crazy. We don't have to get into that, but it's like a small step that's almost preventing me from recording anything at all because I feel like I need the camera, but it's just this step that's getting in my way. I don't know what it's not even that hard. But also I've just also decided that it's not that big of a deal if I record without a camera. For now, I want to, but I think I'm going to wait until I can either afford a dedicated camera or just get a webcam. So yeah, if you want to help speed that process up, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe because it does help. Anyways, back into this. All right, so for our mid bass here, we're just going to keep this pretty simple as well. I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to copy all of my low notes here, right? And it's okay if you get a couple extras in here. We can just delete them after the paste. So I'm just going to put down another track here and just going to paste that in. and then we can just delete the extras. I'm going to put this on 0, just where we're at on the piano roll. And I'm going to use Serum. And let's just see what this sounds like with the regular. Let me see if this is low enough. Okay, let's see what that sounds like. All right. I mean, that does sound pretty good. You know what I think I'm going to do instead? I use smooth voice leading in some of the chord stacks. So I think what I'm going to do instead is I'm actually going to take... Huh. You know what? Let me just take this, actually. See, this is kind of what I mean. There's really not a right or wrong way to do this. You don't have to do really anything. Just whatever's going to sound best for you, you know what I mean? So, a little bit of experimenting. Alright, cool. Alright, cool. Alright, so now let's mess around with this a little bit. Go ahead, solo this. Again, I'm gonna go to basic shapes here. Maybe add the unison to widen it out a little bit. Also going to do the MG Low 12 filter. Sounds pretty sick. Then I'll add multi-band compression. I also do like to add hyper. I'm going to turn this all the way down. I'm going to turn the mix slightly up here. Then I'll turn the size down. Turn the size down a little bit. Gonna add OTT. I'm also gonna add a bit of distortion. Okay, I'm also going to bring this down a bit. Getting closer. All right, and now the only thing we want to do next is add a sub, and adding that is pretty easy. We're just going to duplicate our bass layer, mid bass here. Go ahead and solo it. I'm going to delete this EQ. Going to delete saturator. Going to delete thermal. Delete overdrive, and I'm going to delete OTT. So for this, we're still going to use basic shapes. Let's drop the unison down to 1. We can use the MG Low 12. Let's go ahead and turn off all of this stuff here. And I'm also going to turn on the EQ here. So next I'm just going to turn on, I'm going to use the glue compressor. Oh, not on that. Going to turn my range down to 10. And I'm just going to pull the threshold down until I can see it consistently hitting the 10. And then I'm going to turn this makeup up until I can see the clip blinking pretty consistently. And I mean, yeah, if you want to add some drums here, I mean, make it poppin'. Turn this into some fresh banger or something. I don't know. I don't know, man, what you do with your own music. You do whatever with your own music, but I don't know. We'll just see what, I don't know, you know? Let's see if we can't find something funky fresh. Okay, well, what if I want to make my own, though? Ooh. It's kind of nice. It's kind of nice. Oh. I got some nice samples. Oh my, dude, these are. It's probably my favorite. I've been using this one a lot. Alright, cool. Now we're gonna add a little bit of a something here. Something. Alright, next we're just gonna duplicate this right quick and yeet yeah. Now we are going to add within our stack. Wait, no, sorry. Outside of our stacks, we're going to add a MIDI track, right? This one. This one. It's the good one. But first, let's make our drums a bit more interesting. I am just going to use samples because I can. Alright, and here is where the fun starts, I think. This is where we're going to make our lead. But yeah, it sounds pretty cool without, but really if you want to spice it up, add a top lead to that. Add a top lead to that thing. Wait, am I even? I'm not doing nothing. Hold on. Gonna add serum, of course. And I'm just gonna use the initialize preset just to get like a good melody going. So that sounds pretty sick, not gonna lie. Kind of surprised I got that on the first try. Anyways, let's, I don't even know, honestly. Do we even have? Hold on. I don't think these leads would do what I want them to do. Huh? Yo. Honestly, it sounds pretty sick. So also don't be afraid to just make preset or just use presets. You don't have to make every single sound. Whatever's gonna work, man. All right, well, that sounds pretty sick. Yeah, sounds pretty sick. So I think I'll go ahead and leave it at that. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you got something out of it. Hope you've been eating well, drinking well, and sleeping well. And I will, in fact, catch you in the next one. If you guys haven't already, don't forget to leave a like. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I really do appreciate you. Man, it's crazy. Reading the comments you guys leave, seeing just how much you guys appreciate what I do. You know what I mean? I know it's been a little bit, but yeah, good things happening. Good things are, in fact, happening. I appreciate you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.